Well, Dr. Vikram Patel from the Department of Global Health and Social Medicine of the Harvard Medical School joins us on NDTV tonight. Dr. Patel has recently written a piece for Lancet about the lockdown and its impact on India. He is in Delhi at the moment and joins us. Dr. Patel, thanks very much for being with us. Can I first, ask you about, when you look at the Indian curve, as it were, the COVID curve and that line that we saw that is generally seemed to going in the upward direction since the lockdown began. How should we read that? Should we be looking at that in isolation or compared to how India is doing versus the rest of the world? How do you see it?
So first of all, just to correct Nidhi, I'm actually locked down in Goa and not in Delhi. So I would like to say that those curves are national averages. The first thing to recognize that India is a multitude of different states, and that if you had to look for the curve in certain states like Kerala, you would have seen a completely different picture. And I think it's very important to recognize that we have great diversity in our country, and some states are doing remarkably better than others, and there are lessons to be learned from those states. And of course, Kerala is definitely the exception to the rule here. The other thing to say about these numbers is I wouldn't put too much emphasis on them because, of course, we could be finding more cases simply because we're testing more people, and you alluded to that. And that is a good thing, actually. That is something we should be doing a lot more of. So I would really urge caution not to get panicky about these curves, but instead to put into place the necessary steps to ensure that the epidemic is containable when the economy starts returning to normal as the lockdown is lifted.
Now, what you've written in the Lancet is that a one-size-fits-all approach to the pandemic is likely to increase inequalities in the long term. So countries with less resources must let people get on with their lives. Now, this is very important because you've pointed out in your piece that when people don't have access to income, to food, to very basics, that can cause bigger problems for a country like India than the coronavirus itself.
Hi, Nidhi.
Sorry, Dr. Patel, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, just to ask you again, you've actually written in Lancet that a one-size-fits-all approach cannot work for everyone as far as tackling the pandemic is concerned, and that countries with less resources must let people get on with their lives. So you believe that that time has come for India now?
Absolutely. I think that time for India was there even 5 or 6 weeks ago. But, that time has, let's not try and do a postmortem of history, but instead look forwards here. Definitely. Let's be honest, Nidhi, India's greatest success has always been in our community engagement, in bottom-up grassroots approaches. We've conquered many things in the past. We've conquered the Nipah virus in Kerala. We've conquered a whole range of epidemics, cholera epidemics. Over decades, we have built a rich experience on how to actually beat infections and epidemics. But the key to all of them is that we do grassroots-based planning. We involve the community, we decentralize planning, and we engage our frontline workers. And it's interesting, as we look forward, I hope very much that the emphasis on healthcare will shift from intensive care and ventilators, which has really dominated the conversation, to our ASHA workers, our frontline health workers, the self-help groups, the primary care doctors. Where is this incredible army of India's healthcare mission actually present in controlling the epidemic? Let's be honest. As the lockdown is lifted, we will see more cases. It is inevitable. And I hope very much that the established strategies that are known to actually contain the epidemic are twinned with using India's fundamental strength, its people, its communities, and its frontline workers to actually stem the tide.
I think, Dr. Patel, and I don't know if you got this sort of impression as well, but I think the problem in India is that people are so terrified of the coronavirus because we were, told that the lockdown, in a sense, would help us win the war against it. And perhaps that wasn't the best goal to have set out when clearly a lockdown wasn't going to eliminate it. So I think a lot of people are under this impression that if after so many days of being locked down, we're not flattening the curve just yet, and if we open up, it will actually increase the number of cases. I think there is a sense of a little nervousness, butterflies in the stomach, if you will, about what this could lead to. So, if you could put that into perspective for us, that, most of us, even if we get it, will recover from it.
Well, this is the bottom line, Nidhi. You're absolutely right. It's unfortunate this messaging wasn't so clear at the beginning. The fact is that only 5% of Indians are above the age of 65, where most mortality is concentrated. And here's another very important fact that we forgot to account for. about 50% of all the deaths that have occurred in Europe and the US are in old age homes, in care homes. This is a particular kind of extremely vulnerable population of people in which transmission occurs at a very heightened rate. This particular social structure does not even exist in India. So if you account for that 50% in care homes and the fact that we have such a small fraction of our population in the elderly age group, you realize that these low mortality rates that we are so lucky to have right now could have been actually anticipated right at the outset, because these are known facts to us. Now, as we lift the lockdown, Nidhi, I would like every one of my fellow Indians to keep in mind that if you're healthy and if you're young, this infection poses absolutely no risk to you. However, it is our duty and responsibility to protect the elders in our communities and in our homes. And to do that, we need to be very, very rigid in practicing respiratory hygiene and etiquette. We know all the things that we need to be doing. And I think it's our moral responsibility to do that. And what I would like to say is that we need to shift away from making this a law and order problem, a top-down technical fix, to engaging each and every Indian on this mission to protect our elders and the vulnerable.
Can I ask you, though, that when you say that if you're young, you're not sort of going to be impacted by this, that's not entirely true. I mean, we have seen people under the age of, I mean, dare I say, those who are under, 55, 50 are still relatively young. So there is a large, population of people in that age group. I'm above 40, people who have died from this, unfortunately. So,
yes, you're right.
So, I mean, we have to all be careful, don't we?
We do all have to be careful, absolutely. I'm just saying the risk of mortality, and that's a very important factor, right? If the risk of mortality is 1 in 1,000 when you have the infection when you're 50, surely that is a very minuscule risk when it comes to all the other health conditions that currently we put on hold. You see, Nidhi, what has happened in the last 4 or 5 weeks is that most routine healthcare services have been put on pause. And if you had conditions like diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and so on, it means your routine care has been affected. Now, those are far more lethal conditions than this particular virus is when you're 50 years old. I'm not saying it's zero mortality. Of course, we all have to be cautious. All I'm saying is that we need to put the risk of mortality in the right perspective here.
Can I ask you, though, Dr. Patel, that, once the lockdown eases, and it's obviously going to be a gradual process, what is the new normal going to be like for most of us in terms of how we travel, how we eat out? That might not even be on the horizon immediately, but are we looking at wearing masks now indefinitely till there is a pill that we can pop to get better, or a vaccine that comes along? I mean, how long do you think this new normal will go on for? I mean, Harvard says maybe a couple of years.
Yeah, I think I can't disagree with my colleagues, of course. Yeah, I certainly don't know for sure. I wish I could tell, but I will say one thing. I think we do need to re-engage with our everyday life. This is what makes us who we are as human beings. Social interaction is fundamental to human society. So I do think masks are important, but I don't think we should put a huge emphasis on this. This could be a natural adaptation that we make for a couple of years. I think it's a sensible one. And I certainly think when we consider wearing masks within our home to protect older people, I think it's a logical thing to do. But I don't believe that this is going to be indefinite. Let's not forget, Nidhi, we've lived through epidemics right through human history, and we have made adjustments to our lives during the period of risk. And then we've gotten back to a kind of a more normal balance between taking precautions and the everyday things that we need to do. And I'm absolutely convinced that that is also what is going to happen within a couple of years from now. But yes, for a couple of years, being sensible, cautious, and responsible is the duty of every citizen, I think.
All right. And finally, if I could ask you, it's okay for us to get back to work now? Just trying to get some reassurance.
Absolutely. I hope the first thing we do, and I really hope the Prime Minister and the Chief Ministers do this, is to do away with this traffic zoning of the districts of India. A district is a huge place. Instead, to actually do away with this absurd litany of rules, which I have to tell you, it's taken most people hours to figure out what works and where and at what time, etc. But instead to work towards containment in micro clusters of where there is a high prevalence, a high transmission rate, and for the rest of the country, to start moving back to normal as soon as possible with the minimum number of rules. Because let's be honest, the more rules we have and the more zoning we have that is complex to understand, the longer it will take for livelihoods and the economy to begin to return to normal.
All right. Well, Dr. Patel, thanks very much for joining us. And in fact, another aspect of your paper in The Lancet, which I want to leave people with, is how you have pointed out that people with other serious diseases, cardiac issues, etc., haven't actually been able to get the care that they should have because of the ban on public transport and other issues with this lockdown. So there's a lot we need to think about as we ease out of it. So thanks very much, Dr. Patel, for joining us. Thank you.